Hi, I'm Sherry and welcome to my channel, Sherry Jones Designs. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make the knot tunic. This is a design that I made all by myself. Aren't you proud of me? All by myself. I've never seen this design anywhere else, so it's not taking, I'm not taking my inspiration from somebody else. What I'm going to be using today to show you is my handmade raw edge, which I will link the video below if you want to make some of this for yourself. It's a great way to use up upcycled pieces. Plus, think about it, you can go to garage sale, you can grab children's clothing, any kind of clothing that, as long as the fabric is something that you like. Let's say there's a 10-cent table, you can just go grab and pick up. Oh, I'm doing let's say your favorite colors was pink and black. You could pick up every pink, black, and let's say white. You could pick up every pink, black, and white you could find, and then piece it all together and have a piece made in the color that you love. It's really fun. So I also wanted to talk to you about my Sherry's Random Adventure channel. I turned it into the Silly Chicken, and I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm just trying to figure out what works for me on YouTube, and it's just been a trial and error thing for me. It came right down to I asked myself why I'm having trouble posting content over there, and I'll tell you why. I'm a very private person, so I hope you can understand. And so for private content and just kind of personal content, I'm going to filter it off YouTube to Patreon. I'm just saying I'm not comfortable with my content, my personal content, just randomly placed on YouTube. So I hope you can understand that. Well, I tried to do an overhead, but it's so big it doesn't fit on my overhead. Basically the shape, it's quite large. This is like a balloon type top. One of those that balloons out. So basically, if you look at it and you look close, you'll recognize the shape. It's a moon. It's like a moon. So the shape you're going to make, we're going to measure it out. It's like a moon, and the larger you need it from across the top here, it's kind of like a moon with a flat bottom. And this flat bottom is where you attach to something. That could be any kind of top. It could be, any top you want, or a lot of times I will use just a denim piece up here and put a zipper in it. And then these, they go out, the reason they go out so long, like a moon shape, is because the ends are knotted and tied, and that's why it's called the knot tunic. But if you don't have this arch in it, it won't balloon. Like if I would just go straight down, it would hang totally different. Having this arch here is what gives it the balloon shape. I've seen people try to make my design on Etsy. They don't know how to do it, but so I'm fine if you've been one of those people and you want to use this design. So basically, if you look at it, I have a moon, and I'm going to measure my moon. This one here would be a size small. So however much you add, you can actually just add a piece here to the middle if you wanted to. But basically, however wide your garment is, let's say you would add 4 inches to it, this whole thing's got to be that much wider, so to have the same look. So the top, across the top on this one that I have, that's a small up here, is about 18 inches. And then my total length from the flat side of the moon to the side is 17.5. And remember, when you do this, you could add lace to this. You could add anything you want. This is a basic shape, okay? The total width of the moon, let me put this up here. Remember, it's a moon. You're going to be drawing a moon shape. You understand that a pattern like this couldn't just be easily printed off. You're going to have to scale it for yourself, draw it for yourself. The total length of this pattern of the moon is 47 inches. So now we're going to measure. So now if you're drawing it out, you go to the flat side of your paper, put your 18-inch mark. Here's how I would do it. Let's say what you needed, like this, you know, let's say what you needed up here is 40 inches. You can make it 36 at first and then cut this open. You know, there's different ways to draw it. And then, you know, draw this out, then cut it open and widen it. You know, see, here's the problem with patterns. Let's say you're a person that's really, really short, or maybe you're a person with a longer torso. You're going to have to adjust this pattern for your size. And that's why when doing patterns on this channel, it is a little bit hard because everybody's built different. So what might work for me and be perfect in size won't work at all for you. So, okay, so we're going to go again. We had 18 inches here. Now, from what would be the flat part to the where your moon would start is going to be 26 inches. So you would need a 26-inch wide paper. If you have one that's not wide enough, you can always just tape an extra piece on. Because some of the packing papers only come this wide. So if you're going to use packing paper and yours is this wide, just roll it out and tape some together till you get the right width. Basically, and there's a lot of people that are in between sizes. So let's say I had a t-shirt here and I wanted to make this, and I was going to attach it to this t-shirt. I was going to cut this bottom off. I could go like this, and I know, you know, you can see that how much you'd have to add to this. So on your fabric, you could actually just take and sketch that out. You know, lay this out here and just sketch out what you need to the size of shirt you're making. I will frequently just cut something off, do like a denim band, and then attach a very colorful balloon, this balloon piece to the bottom. And so today I'm going to be showing it to you as done with my patchwork, and I'll show you when I do patchwork sometimes what I'll do when I think I have a piece that's about big enough. Lay this out. Like I can tell, you know, I'm not wide enough here, but what I like to do is cut my basic shape, and then I will come back and fill in my missing pieces. And then I save or I'll take with the pieces I cut off, fill in my missing pieces. And that is a way to do it as well. So depending on your size, you know, you may have to make that pattern deeper, you know, go further out for your lines, and whatever you would add, I'll just say this again, whatever you add here, need to add here, just add that to the rest. And then measure yourself, like whatever shirt you're going to attach to it. Maybe it's not going to be a shirt, it's just going to be a band and some straps. Measure the total length and make sure that fits you, on you, where you would want it to fit. And otherwise, it's not a hard piece to make. And I'll show you more about putting it together, because you don't sew, when you sew it, this is gonna, like if you're gonna wear it, this piece is gonna fall straight down, right? So you don't sew it all the way to the end here. You stop right where you want. You could actually have the gap start up higher, show part of your waist if you wanted to. But basically wherever your waist is at, that's how far down you'd stop sewing. And so you'll see that as we go along. Patchwork, I could have flipped it the other way as well. But this is almost close enough. So, and you can also fold your fabric the other way and just fold this in half and do it like that. For me, I'm just going to open it. I'm just going to clip it in place so it doesn't move too much on me. And I think I'm going to I'm trying to decide, but I think I might just, let's see, do I need to scoot down a little bit? I actually could scoot down a little bit and save myself some fabric here, because I've got to add pieces out here anyways. Just want to make sure I'm on the double here, where I've got this doubled. For this one, I'm going to be doing a denim band with a zipper in it and some straps. It's just going to be like a pinafore. They are really cute, attached to other things like t-shirts. It's real fun to use a floaty, like vintage sheet with these. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut along the edge. I'm trying to think if I want to make it just a little bit wider. I think I'll go about this far out like this. And then I'll save these will be pieces I also want to fill in the bottom. Make sure you can see me. A lot of times I don't even get my camera in the right spot. It's hard being the star and the cameraman at the same time, you guys. Okay, here we go. Okay. And now all I need to do is put that top, and then I will refer back to my pattern after I sew some pieces on. I can see I'm short here, I'm short here, and I'm probably, if I remember correctly, I'm short on the other side as well. And this is the raw edge. I didn't even get all my strings off it yet. Time consuming, but so pretty. I'm not sure which one I like the best, the raw edge or the turned under. I kind of am leaning more to the turned under, but I can't decide. The raw edge reminds me so much of the old time quilts. A lot of them had the raw edge. Okay, so I'm going to piece this in, and I'll come back and trim it off. And so, okay, so I've sewn on some more pieces, and I've gone ahead. I'm actually pinning my pattern on now just to make sure it doesn't shift on me. So now I gotta decide, am I gonna make, like if I was putting a longer shirt, then this might be enough. If I'm putting just a band, so if I want this longer, this would be the time and point to make it longer here. But I think I'm okay with the height that it is, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this and just go ahead and give myself a little bit underneath here. So your moon, don't forget, does come to a point. You're going to need that point for your tie. I think I'll just go ahead and give myself a little bit here at the bottom, about a ½ inch. I'm making this one to sell, so it's not, I'm not measuring it against myself here, although it may fit me when it's done, but anywho. Okay, so now I'm just going to fill in this piece. Now I see what I have to fill in, and I'll make my other one to match this one. I don't quite have a tip here, and I might sew a tip on that. And with patchwork, you always have to trim your back side up, and that's not trimmed yet. So, okay, I'm going to keep sewing. I'm going to get this one done and do my other one. And then I'll show you when we start putting them together. Okay, there's two ways you can kind of put this together from here. One is you could actually finish every edge by turning it over, sewing it down, and then putting them together. So every edge is already finished, because you have some places here that you will be tying where it goes up and meets here. And so all this that's by itself out here has to be finished. Look, I have a little bit missing. I'm gonna have to fill that in. Okay, so one method is, like, I could take this to my serger. I could serge all my edges of these individually, and then I could sew them together down to the point I want them, and then just tie them off. The other way to do it is you sew them together to the point you want to stop, then you turn it like this and then finish the edge. And that's the other way you would put it together. But I generally put these together first and then hook it to whatever shirt I'm using. So if you're using a t-shirt, you'd want to make sure that you had made this wide enough from the beginning, or if you're using a blouse or some other tank top, like this could be many things. For me, I'm going to be making a denim band that will go to the top of this, and I will be putting a zipper in it. So the first thing I'm going to do on mine is I'm going to just, I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'm trying to think how I want to do this. I think I'm gonna serge mine, and I'll show you the top over top method as if you had finished it separately, because I think that was a more uncommon method of putting something together. So let's do that. So let's say that the shirt you're using is going to be cut off right across here. Then you're going to be able to estimate from the side about how far you need to sew down before you would, because you want to start as early for the best look, as early as you can, and usually right at your hip, kind of where your hip starts, which is here. So you can see I wouldn't be sewing a lot closed. If I was using a t-shirt on the top of this that was going to come down a ways, I'm only going to be sewing maybe 6 inches of this shut, or 10 or 8 or somewhere in there, a very small amount. And that leaves all this, because when you tie this, it uses a big old chunk of it like that. And so it makes this real cute poof to the place you tie it. The thing about this is, let's say you didn't go down far enough. It's easier to close it later than to have to seam rip it back up. Both ways are doable, but I found that I can put right sides together. All I need was a measurement, so that's good. I found that it's easier, you know, to add the stitch in this than to take it out. I think I'll do 10 is where I'm at. I'm at a little over 9, so let me drop it because I've got some seam that's going to be sewn on up here as well. So I think I'll do 10 on this. Maybe even 10 and a half. And I'm just going to put a pin in there. And I will show you how I do a top seam method that you can do as well. I call it flat seaming or top seaming. I like it for the comfort it gives in clothing. And it's kind of like my flat seam method of patchwork. Basically all it is, and make sure you can see what I am doing, but I start it like this, and you just lay one over the other and sew it down like that. And that, because this is raw seamed, you could do that raw seamed. And I mean, if you wash it carefully, honestly, as long as these are all you know, when you cut a seam open, it will tend to fray. Oh, you have to sew over it again. So you could just zigzag this and let that fray as well. And with this all being frayed like this, that would be fine. So you could actually take, and instead of serging this, you could just zigzag all your edges, lay this directly over this, go down to your length. And because these are already zigzagged, your sides are already done. This is already done. You can just literally attach it and tie it and be done. That's how fast that you could put this together. Some people like raw seam look. That's all they want in upcycles. Other people hate it. You know, this is art. They're really, as long as you're getting the design that you're after and, you know, it does what you want it to do, anything goes in upcycling. That's why I like it. It's very creative. It's just like regular art, okay? Another thing to keep in mind, let's say you've done this whole thing and you find that this top band is just too small. You can actually just cut it down low. It widens very quickly. So you can cut down to what you need and just add some pieces down to the bottom of it. You could add a lace to the bottom of it, a trim. So it's very flexible in that if you make a mistake, you can change that mistake really easy. Now here I'm just laying one on top of the other. Here's my marker for the length. I'm just making sure that they're laying one on top of the other. I do want to follow the angle. Let me make sure that I'm keeping that, because it's at that angle that gives it the balloon shape. Okay, and that about there is my length. Okay, so like I said, if you get this far and you decide this is too narrow, and it does look fairly narrow, what you can do is you can just come down like that and make it wider and add more to your bottom part if you need to. It could be denim lace, it could be all kinds of things, a little frilly border, whatever you would want to do there, or you could just keep doing patchwork and go a little lower. So next we're going to do a denim band. I kind of like this. I kind of like the length of this zipper. And the way I do my zippers, you have to make sure that, let me see if I can get you good lighting here and show you this. Make sure that if you cut this top piece of the zipper off, that's what makes your zipper stop. So if you were to cut that off and I was to pull on this, it'll just go clear off. It'll just go shooting off. So a lot of times when you cut your zippers out, you'll accidentally cut that piece. Now if you do, and you see it beforehand, just take your machine and very carefully do a bunch of stitching, zigzagging right here, like a buttonhole, you know, like you stay still. Make sure your needle's not hitting it. So it has something to bump against, or you could take and hand stitch something for it to bump against. And then how I trim up my zippers is, and you can decide how you want to trim your zipper up, of course. But there's a lot of extra here to sew through. And I actually want to see the zipper. I like to be able to see the zipper. So I will actually, with a good pair of shears, it takes a good pair to get that. A lot of scissors want to split right there on you. You gotta cut. I got these off Temu, guys, $8 or $9, so not super expensive. Just cut it back. I like to see it like that. And now if you look, I've got a lot of extra. I want them to be able to zip it open without having that flap there. You know, maybe they need some AC that day. So I just come in here and I trim it up. And that gets rid of a lot of the excess. And then I can just sew it down. It's a very rugged sort of, because that's what this is. It's all frayed. It goes with the theme of what I'm doing. And now I'll be making a band. I gotta make a decision on my denim. I'm having trouble deciding what kind of denim to use. I don't want it to be too stiff, but I don't want it to be too soft. I want one to stand out. I think this is a good medium weight. It's got a soft feel, but it's also not too chintzy, and it kind of looks like that. I think that's what I'm going to go with. Oh, that would have been cute on the front too, huh? But, you know, this is fun. You can go to a thrift store for a couple bucks, my thrift store, and get jeans for a couple bucks. And sometimes I'll buy them that have, like this one's got, looks like glue or some kind of stain here on the front, and cut around them. It feels really good just to rescue a pair of jeans. Okay, I'm just going to come out, since that's stained, I'm just going to cut straight across here. I'm going to split these open. I think this leg here should have plenty in it. I like to save these and use these as straps for tops. So I always cut them out when I don't need them in the garment. They make great straps and they're strong. I've got a couple garments made with them. Very nice to use. Always save those. Okay. Now I want to, the nice thing about jeans is you can see the grain. Like I can just see where it's at. So I can actually just line myself up here, cut straight down with my mean scissors. That's probably enough, but I'll just go to the end anyways here. Alright, so now I got me a piece that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I wanted, something about 6 inches. And these are pretty muddied, so I think I am going to take them off. They got mud all over them actually. I'm ready just gonna toss them. We don't want it to be nasty. Okay, so now I'm gonna find my width here to attach. Like I said, I'm kind of thinking this is a little narrow. So let me see what I actually have here. I actually have, well, it's not as narrow as I thought. It's 37, but I think I'm gonna go drop down just a little. Because the thing is, with this design, people are going to be layering it. Like, it's going to be layered. So I'm just going to take off. I'm going to lay this flat. I'm going to take off about an inch. Now that looks a lot better. Plus, I think that I like the height better. So you have to think about what you're making. I'm making now I've got 42 or 41. I'm making just a kind of like a shirt tunic, not something too long. Okay, and now when I'm going to put my band on here, so I'll just start and give myself a little bit of extra. So I can cut my angle or whatever. Maybe I don't even want an angle. Maybe I want it to go straight up. So I'm just going to start sewing it on there. At the corner. You're rattling, little sewing machine. My little buddy. Bones is starting to rattle like mine. Why are you rattle? It's annoying like mine. Straighten up. Because I'm not going out, I'm coming in, so I can just cut these off. That's right. Okay. I'm just gonna start here again. Here I'm just going to trim this one because I don't want a double layer there. Careful not to cut my top. And I'm going to stop because these will be overlapped like this. But I want to see what kind of angle I want to it. Like that. If I want it just to be straight up, which that's not bad straight up actually. I think I will. So, what I'm going to do, and this is where you'd measure it to a second measuring, make sure everything's good. You know, for yourself, if you're making it for yourself, make sure you got the right width in it. I'm just going to sew it all the way up. And let's say you knew you wanted to trim this off. I got extra here. Make sure when you do your back stitch, you go back quite a ways. So if you cut part of that, you haven't taken the whole strength of the seam out. You know what I'm saying? It won't unravel because you've got all that back stitching before it. So, because I will need to trim that, which I can probably do right here. Just ease into it, make it even. I do like to do a stitch around here so that the denim will only fray so far, but I'll do that after I get the other side done. And I'll trim this off too, it's a little wide. I'm making sure I'm on top of the other fabric. And then of course when you sew around the top, you also lock it in again. Your seam is plenty super strong. This is going to be a fun little top to wear. Somebody's going to just love this little top. Now, let's say you wanted it to be shorter, this would be the time you trim it. You know, this is where you're making those decisions. So I'm not even sure which is front and back at this point. Which side's the cutest? I think I almost like this side the best. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to sew all the way around it. And then we're going to measure to the center. And we're going to sew our zipper in and then cut it open. I'll show you how I do that, so that the zipper actually functions. As you know, when you open it, it actually is an opening. Okay, so the first thing we do is I'm going to go all the way around the top. So we don't want our zipper, well, I don't anyways, want the zipper sideways over there. And we ended up with, what did I end up with? About, 39 inches up here. It's still small. So, let's see here. I want the zipper to start at, because I'm going to be zipping it open. So if I did it down here, then I'd have fabric there. I want my zipper to start at the top. And I want my zipper to be in the middle exactly. And I don't, so you want to make sure you're in the middle exactly. So I'm going to make sure I'm in the middle exactly. This may end up being too small for me to wear, but I do have one I made of a different fabric to show you guys. Okay, I guess I'm at 40 inches actually, so it may fit me. Alright, so we'll go 10 inches. How handy. That's easy math, right? So this is the center of my zipper. Right? I went halfway. And I want the zipper part itself to open in the center. Like it's actually a little wider on this side. And you can, I have just trimmed these. So they're about, they look, I don't know, I'm all about balance in my stuff. I don't know if it's just a personal problem I have. Probably is. Some sort of issue, but that's okay. That's we all see things different. So I'm going to go where the center is. I'm going to pin this in place now. So I don't get it off centered. And then I'm just going to stitch here and all the way back up. And then when I'm done, I'll unzip it and trim the back side, and I'll show you. Make sure you only stitch one layer. Don't stitch your back in as well. And I'm actually up just a weensy high. I'm going to pull it down just a little like that. And I'm still going to use my zigzag. You could use straight, you could use whatever you wanted. You could get a denim color thread, which would look really nice. And you come up here. Sometimes I use a straight stitch for this too. I do have a heavy needle in my machine still. And you do want to make sure you back up and support where it's going to open. So now you should have something like this, and if you zip it open, you're going to see the denim, right? You're going to see the denim. Well, we don't want to see that. And so now we have an outline on the back, and we're just going to trim that open. Just follow your outline and trim it open. And you will have a working little zipper for your top. Isn't that cute? And I think for the straps, what I'm going to use is that piece, that end piece I told you that I use frequently. I think we're going to use that for the strap. Now, isn't that cute? That is so cute and adorable. And so I'm going to get the second one of these, and we will measure. Now, between your straps, usually 7.5. works for most people, you know. But if you're wide shouldered, you're making this, and you know, you're broad shouldered, it's nice to be able to measure yourself, you know, measure a garment that fits you well, and make sure that you've got your straps set where it's comfortable in your shoulders, where it doesn't fall off. If you have sloped shoulders, my suggestion to you is to crisscross these in the back, and that's really cute done that way. Okay, now we're going to start our straps here, and I usually use these little clips like this, and what you'll do, this is our center, is the center of the zipper. So I'm gonna go, if I go out 4, like that, 4, I am at 7, so I think that's what I'm gonna do, go out at least 4, because really it should be set at least 7.5 between them at least. Maybe for ease of math, I'll do 8. And then you could decide, like these could come all the way down here. You could put little appliques on this. There's so much that a person could do in these designs of these little garments like this. Okay, so I did it just top and bottom, kind of like you'd see a belt loop done. And I'm going to fold it over. And I've learned in my sewing that 7.5 to 8 inch height on your strap is usually correct. This will help me know where to end to square it away. There, I'm going to sew those on, and for these I'll come all the way down probably rather than have the loop. All right, so you should have something similar to this, or maybe yours has a t-shirt on the top, and now it's like this. It looks ridiculously long, right? But it turns out perfect. So now you come up and you just tie a big knot in each one of these. This is why it's the knot tunic. Look how short it all of a sudden got. And then I usually make sure I'm poofing it out so you got that bounce. You want like it to, like a balloon type style. So you do tie, it's just a regular knot. When you wash it, I would untie it, wash it, and then retie it to the shape you want. You could also make the knots bigger, smaller, whatever looks good to your eye. Okay. And then you'll have something kind of like that. And I will see if it fits. If not, I'll wear the one, I'll go put on the one I have that's made like that. I still don't have all the strings off of it. Patchwork just makes so many strings when sewing. You get all the little knots, and how cute it's very youthful and playful. So a grandchild even, or anybody, like if you're a child at heart and you love bright colors and you love to wear bright colors, how fun would this be? You could even make it a little bit longer, wear it with some leggings, but some jean shorts. It's very summery, tutti fruity colors. Okay. I don't have pockets on. I always go for the pockets. We didn't put any pockets on it yet. And I'm short. Remember, I'm only 5 foot high, barely 5, probably under 5 now that I've gotten older. But for the pockets, you know, you could take cute denim, put the denim on it, you know. So I may do that. But that is just really cute, really fun to wear. It's fun because these spin and kind of hit your legs. It's just really fun. If you wanted to do one shorter, of course, look, see, that's not very much fabric. Like you could easily, if you just wanted it to the waist, on a taller person, this is gonna get a lot closer to the waist. And, you know, that's one reason I don't model my clothes, you guys, because I feel like it would give people a misconception. If I was average height, I might feel like that would be okay, but I'm only 5, barely 5, probably under 5, and I just feel like that's unfair to let people think that it's going to hit them a certain place and they get it and it's not even close. Like think an average height, let's say is 5'4", 5'6", that's a 6-inch difference on a hemline. So it means it would hit them like here, whereas me, it's going to be down here. That's why I don't model my own clothes for resale on Etsy. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this tutorial was a blessing to you and you make something fun to wear for yourself. And I also wanted to thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing. It means a lot to me, and for supporting me. And don't forget that on Patreon will be all the more personal things. So if you want a little bit more from the channel, it will be over there. And if you want to watch me run around and play silly games, I posted on the Silly Chicken channel, I posted some really, well, probably the best editing I've ever done so far on the last 2 episodes of my journey of beating the game from front to back, which I have never done before. I hadn't died at like day 200 in this game, and so I thought, could I actually beat the game for the first time in my life? And I've played this game off and on for quite a while in my life, so it was really cool. Just, you know, I played it with my kids, and I got into it and they got me hooked on it. So if you want to go see that and see my struggle and my victory of beating that game, go over and watch that on the Silly Chicken channel, formerly Sherry's Random Adventures. And guys, don't forget about the Discord. It's free. You can go over there, and on the Discord channel, over there you can post things you make. You can, you know, chat and hang out with others who are sewing, who are doing upcycling. It's just a fun place to post your pictures. We do monthly challenges. This month we're doing a patchwork scarf, and I may even do a tutorial on that along with what I make. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Love you all, and until next time, happy sewing.